Hello, people. It is Friday, the 25th of October, and I am checking in, and it's just good old me being me. I'll start with music, and then I'll just blabber like I do, okay? The last record that I listened to was this, Soft Machine, Hidden Details, given to me by Anthony Ferraro. Thank you, Anthony, very much. I like this album a lot, and what I like about it was after I put it on and started listening, really got into it, and I kept having to ask myself, who am I listening to? Who is this? Who is this? You know, because it doesn't sound like Soft Machine of the old days, okay? It's really good, atmospheric. The music expresses a lot of experience and depth. John Etheridge does quite a bit of work on here. The guitarist is featured quite a bit on here, to good measure. It's really good. It's really good. But I did have to say to myself, what am I listening to? You know, carrying on a tradition? No, the name still lives. Is it okay that they're using the name Soft Machine? It is okay with me. So this is the last thing I listened to. The other thing I listened to is I have a lot of 12-inch club singles that I like dance music, you know. And when I'm in the mood sometimes I'll just put it on and actually dance, you know. They say that dancing is good for your health and it helps you stay young, and I kind of realized that before reading anything about it. I just, you know, will break out and dance. It's a form of exercise. So I played this, Yoshimoto, I Want You to Hear Me. I know nothing about the artist. It's a 12-inch single with 3 mixes of the song I Want You to Hear Me. And I just really like it. It's got a great beat, and the arrangement of the song just makes me want to put it on repeat. So this is another one I listened to recently, Yoshimoto. This goes back to 2006 is when it came out. I was doing some rearranging of records out in the other room, making some room, putting some things in the closet, and you know, I kind of change things out depending on what I'm listening to, and I put my Blood Rock away. Blood Rock is an band that I like quite a bit. They were one of the first professional or real rock bands I ever saw in concert. First one was Sir Douglas Quintet, and then when Blood Rock had that big hit DOA, and they came to Omaha, I won a ticket to the show. That was my first proper rock concert. So I have most of their albums, and I was listening to both of these, Passage and Whirlwind Tongues. Neither of these are anything as close to their first 3 albums. Their first 3 albums are really good. And on their 3rd album, they cover a Soft Machine song and do a rather nicely job of it. So even though they're a Texas hard rock band, I think they're from Texas, they were progressive. All the way through their existence, they had this progressive element, which is on both of these albums, but they're just kind of mediocre overall. But so I had those out and played them before they go in the closet. Here's one I listened to, and Kevin Ayers, Joy of a Toy, original member of Soft Machine. Kevin Ayers, what he does is very much about what he's talking about. The music is all over the place. The music is used as a backdrop for what he has to say. And for that reason, Kevin Ayers has not been one of my favorites to listen to, but because of his proximity historically, he's someone that is in my wheelhouse and in my collection. So I put this on the other day and listened to side 1 all the way and just let go of my old way of listening to it and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Which brings to mind, I get feedback from you folks regarding me in my videos, how I'm rather naked about my feelings and my moods. someone wrote and said to me, you know, when you do that, you know, you attract the people that you don't want, you know, and I'm aware of this, but it's like, that's the paradox. It's like, I'm not asking for trouble. I'm just being me. And this is who I am. And I have my reasons for being like I am. And so when people tell me to don't do that, just ignore them, more people like you than they don't, I know that that's not exactly what's going on, even though that might seem that I'm losing sleep, you know, over a couple little comments. It goes deeper than that. It has to do with who each one of us is. And I just got to be who I am, you know, and if it drives you away, then that's just the way it has to be. It's okay with me, you know. I go through moods and changes, mood swings and changes and cycles. And depending on my cycle, sometimes I can be rather hard on my sleeve, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, and the other thing I'll say is, just like you, I don't know your experience. I haven't walked a mile in your shoes. You haven't walked a mile in mine. So what the hell are you doing trying to tell me what I'm supposed to do? How do you know? You don't. You don't know the story. You don't know my story. Even though I've been on here talking to you for 10 years, you still don't know. Just like I don't know yours. So I'll deal with it, you know. I'll deal with my flaws, okay, my humanity, you know. Just don't say anything. Just ignore them. Well, then are they watching you? Are you dealing with it? Are you? Tell me about it. Okay? I do this my way. And the other thing I keep saying is, the reason why I'll bring things up like this is because in a direct person-to-person interaction with the person, things that people try to say to me that it wouldn't happen, or at least I would get the context correct. Because sometimes I do respond because I don't know I don't understand the context, and I may come off negative. It's just, I just c'est la vie. And I deal with things the way I deal with them. Okay. I had a great show last night with Indrima. Great show. We're going to record next week. Okay. More on that later. I'm very pleased that at 64 years old, I'm still involved in the very center of the music scene in Omaha. That the bands I play in, you know, that we're hot still, you know, and last night was packed. It was standing room only, and the place has Old Evers has two outside courts, and they were packed. People coming in and out. I love it. It means a lot to me, yeah. I love that buzz. I love that buzz of doing a good gig and knowing that, you know, you touch the audience. You know, I love that feeling very much. It is time for the videos to be a little bit shorter. Probably due to a bit of a cycle I must be going through or something, eh? I had thought of a record I wanted to talk about, and then it just goes away. So rather than do a blind poll, let me look here and see if there's something I want to talk about. Yeah, there is, right here. I want to talk about this album for a second. Miroslav Vitus from Czech Republic. Infinite Search. Bass player. Was originally in Weather Report. He's done a lot of things. He's recorded a lot of records on ECM. This is a prime jazz album. Herbie Hancock, Jack DeJohnette, John McLaughlin are all on here. Joe Henderson, my God. Joe Chambers is on one track as well on drums. This is magnificent and one of my favorite albums. I was going to say jazz, but no, just albums. When Face Gets Pale, and then his version of, I think Eddie Harris, or is it Les McCann wrote Freedom Jazz Dance? This is the version that I like the best. Eddie Harris wrote it. I also like that this is the original, and it's a white label promo. It was re-released by Atlantic Records, called Mountain in the Clouds. Fantastic album. Just incredible playing. Very nuanced. Magic. It's magical. I will be playing this when I get off. When I get up here. Anything else right quick? I will. Well, I'll add this. So last night's show was big. We opened for the band Thick Paint. The leader of the band Thick Paint and his girl Sarah. Well, Sarah, not his girl. The couple who were the head in the band. They were also, Sarah was in Icky Blossoms. They're moving to Atlanta. Anyway, that was the premise of the show last night. In Dreamer was one of the opening bands. But it was, of course, all-star, in a way, local all-star audience. I mean, just full of musicians and artists. And David Nance and most of his band were at the show last night. It was great because I kind of know David, but I haven't played with him yet. And he was up close. And I'm really glad that he got to see us. I play very spontaneously. I really do. And so I'll just whip out something on the bass. That's why I'm in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of bass players in Omaha who are a lot better than me. But I play with inspiration and I'll try things. And it's like I'll do things I've never done before. It'll just come to me and I'll try it. And usually I can do it. I did that a few times last night and David caught one of them and I caught him catching it. And it was like the look on his face. I love it. I love it. And it really is like on a tight wire, being on a tightrope. You don't know if you're going to fall or not. But after our set, he was just all over me, and I said, well, yeah, we got to get together. I really want to play with you. He said, I just don't understand how that hasn't happened yet. We've got to play. So David Nance was at my show last night. And some of you folks know this album, David Nance Group. It's good. It's good. Before I go, I will talk about my music, because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. If I don't tell you, then you don't know. And I have been very encouraged and pleased with the response to my record sale. It's not over, so that's why I got to tell you again. This album is on sale still for $10 plus postage. And I had to adjust the postage to Canada because it's $17. And yet I've had 4 people from Canada buy the record and paid the postage. I had to order some more record mailers, so any orders that come in today and the next day, I'll fill them as soon as my record mailers come, which should be early next week. But I hardly talk about my music, I really don't have to say that. You guys know that, but I do it anyway because I'm feeling it, okay? So if I feel it, why not say it, eh? Well, because you might piss somebody off, or some people are tired of hearing it. So yeah. Be yourself, I'm being me. The only other thing I have in my mind is how just plastic the mind is, and how insane the entire landscape of this planet is right now. When I was a kid, and I think we kind of sort of assumed this, that when I was a kid, I just kind of assumed that somebody somewhere is kind of in charge, or is kind of holding the line, keeping things from completely falling apart. And just in the current, just currently, it's just really obvious no one's in charge. This was never true. It's an illusion. And it's just something I have to just speak about every now and then. The extreme narcissism and going on in the government. Just no leaders are doing anything. They're not accomplishing anything. Just have to just say it out loud, so I don't. I just have to say it out loud. And the other part of it that I was thinking before I lose my train of thought is how things are from the top down. So since we have all these narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths who are just focused on money and power, since they're setting the tone of the nation and the world, we are dealing, maybe not more so, but seemingly more so, we're dealing with personality disorders. We're dealing with narcissism. We're dealing with, it's like rather than, like I was trying to say earlier, where I had the idea that somebody's in charge, it's like rather than anyone stepping forward or somehow someone with that sort of gravitas coming forward and saying, hey, let's put everything in check and just take a step back. It's not happening at all. It's just a railroad train that is off the rails. And rather, there's people like myself who are saying, hey, what the hell's going on? But up on the top level, it's like it's just out of control. It's like there's seemingly nothing we can do. Well, you can vote. Yeah, vote for the same broken people who are out of control and don't represent us, just represent the corporations and the money. It's insane, and it just really affects the mentality and the air that we breathe, literally, psychically, of the whole planet. And I just respond to it. It's a shame. It's just really sad how people's minds are plastic, and they just, as things get crazier, people just go crazy with it. Instead of, I just wish more people would say, hey, hold on, this is just really insane. The idea that you have people who are supposedly mature adults saying things like, well, it's going to be civil war if so-and-so does, what? It's like, how can the idea of civil war be attractive to anyone? How is that going to come to some sort of good result for anyone? And yet this is where we're at. That affects affects me. And then I tune it out. I do. Yesterday I spent most of the day completely disconnected from media to get a break. But it's hard to escape it completely. And the other thing is that even when I ignore it, it's still affecting my life. So just bear with me in what I have to say, or don't. It's pretty simple.